warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. My name is Andina with student ID 2422010 and 6. Today I would like reviewing the key materials we have covered in this entire semester in Miss Ida class. Drawing directly from Muller-Savill-Strike book is Introducing Second Language Acquisition. I will cover it first language acquisition, the theories, and then second language acquisition or SLA, also factors affecting SLA, and then the nature of learner language, also interlanguage, plus the social discourse and psycholinguistic and linguistic aspect of interlanguage. All from her general yet in-depth perspective, viewing language as a social process unique from kids in L2 but more complex in L2 due to micro factors like cultures and micro ones like daily interaction. Let's get started. First, language acquisition is a natural process where kids pick up their mother tongue without teaching. Saville Stroke highlight innate abilities like Chomsky LAD, language acquisition device, but adds macro-social factors such as family and community rich input. Generally, stages go from babbling to full sentence by age 3 until 5. Deep, deep, very deeply involving creativity like overgeneralizing rules like she have to say when but she say good, like macro bilingual environment can speed it up while micro responsive caregiver interaction drive it forward. And then theories of first language acquisition. L1 theories from Saville Stark blend nativist, behaviorist, and interactionist. Nativist sees language as a genetic, but behaviorists like Skinner focus on imitation and reinforcement. And then interactionist Vygotsky stresses social interaction in the zone of proximal development. She favor a hybrid like innate capacity plus ethnographic macro factor like cultural norms, shaping input, and then deeply kids master pragmatic rules before complex grammar, enabling language before long narrative, that adult can do that. Okay, move on to the second language acquisition. SLA differ from L1 since your learner already have L1, making it more conscious and variable. Saville Stark note influences like L1 transfers, microfactors such as integrating motivation to join the target community or instrumental for career, and microdaily exposure. Generally, adult can learn focus efficiently but slower overall, while kids acquire more naturally like L1. See emphasize ethnography SLA success with authentic social context. And then it also have factor affecting SLA. SLA factor divide into macro and micro. Saville Stroik explained that macro is like age via critical period hypothesis, and then cultural attitude, national education policies, and then micro is practice frequency, specific feedback, low anxiety. It is deeply see and cause crescent effective filter if stress is high and then input doesn't become intake. And then for example immigrant kids advance fast in supporting community is the macro, and then precise tutor correction, and then there is a macro. And move on to the nature of learner language is imperfect, mixing L1 and L2 potentially fossilizing if stalled. Saville Struck sees it as a dynamic learner created unique interim system, not just error but hypothesis testing, like social expectation influence it. Micro through conversation, trial and error, and then it's creating yet predictable, and then simplying grammar from initial communication. And then move on to the interlanguage. Interlanguage or EL is the bridge between L1 and target L2. From Salinger's theory expanded by Saville-Roy, it's an evolving rule system like macro set by bilingual schemas and then micro by overgeneralization like in L1 and then deeply EL can regress without input or stabilize at beginning without immersion. See view EL as a linear autonomy, not failure. So don't afraid if you guys make a mistake. Okay, next is social discourse and aspect of interlanguage. Social discourse aspect of EL center of interaction. From her ethnographic lens, macro power dynamic in class or society shape their interlanguage discourse. Like immigrants adjusting politeness norm, micro involves negotiation meaning in chats like what do you mean to rewind EL? It is deeply discourse makers like emergently adding coherence despite with weak grammar, and then psycholinguistic and linguistic aspect of interlanguage. Psycholinguistic is a mental process like macro memory capacity and attention. Micro crescent style monitoring like self uh, correction when between L1 until L2. It is also negative transfer or interference. Micro simplification. Saville-Strike also integrates EL is a subconsciously psycholinguistically driven, like with systematic linguistic deviation are rarely predictable. Okay, finally, I would like to connect that linking to your reflection journal from Professor Stella Christie, general lecturer in um, public studying. She discussed AI from personalized learning but stress and human interaction for critical thinking. Is for macro-wise, AI aids SLA via adaptive input like EL simulation, micro via PBL, or maybe CLT like face-to-face discussion to avoid ill and fossilization. The reflection from her calls AI an empathetic partner aligning with several stripes. So don't replace social factor but support macro access and micro reflection. So in language classes, use AI sparklingly for ESP or our lesson simulation plus weekly in-person session, super practical. Thank you so much for your attention. I'm so sorry if there are any mistake I have been before. Thank you for your attention. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.